girls, gays, allies, and anyone interested in learning more about the LGBT community. Welcome to the Alphabet Mafia podcast. My name is Zanardi, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, welcome to episode 1 of the show. My guest today is Henry Lopez. He identifies as a gay man. Our conversation got really interesting. We discussed a little bit about his upbringing. He actually came out to his parents before coming out to his friends, which is a little different than most people's stories. We got a little bit into this idea called implicit bias, which he kind of explains, but it's kind of a bias-y that we kind of hold subconsciously, if you will. I had a great time talking to him. We actually recorded this conversation in a park, so if you hear a little bit of light wind or the birds chirping in the background, don't be alarmed, and I am so sorry for that. But we had a great conversation, and yeah, let's just jump into it. Welcome to the show, Henry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Slept in today.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
Did some writing. It was cool.
Awesome. What are you writing on?
I'm actually working on a syllabus. I have to write a syllabus.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Just, where you're from and what are you doing right now?
So I grew up here in Carlsbad, in North County, San Diego. I went to Carlsbad High School, and then my undergraduate degree is in psychology and Spanish from the University of Redlands. I went there after I graduated high school. I took a year off, and I'm doing my master's in psychology over at San Diego State. I hope to eventually pursue my doctoral in psychology. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Nice. No, that's good. How old are you? I guess.
I'm just turned 24. My birthday's on New Year's.
Congrats. Yeah, I turned 24 a few months ago too, so.
Oh, happy and belated.
Right, thank you.
Now we can look forward to renting a car.
Yes, exactly. And a hotel room, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
so growing up, did you, play any sports, or what were you interested in? Music? Or?
I started with soccer, and then I did dance for about a very long time.
Wow.
Since I was like 7 or 8.
Okay. A specific type of dance?
Kind of like all genres: hip hop, tap, jazz, contemporary. I started with hip hop and tap.
Nice. Nice. So I guess you identify as gay, is that correct? Okay, cool. Kind of just tell me a little bit about, that journey that you took, kind of discovering yourself, and then eventually, leading up to that coming out process. Just kind of, describe that for me.
I like that word you used, discovered. I probably discovered I was gay around in middle school, is when I probably had like some sort of idea that I was different. And, middle school's rough on the bullying.
Yes.
So that was rough, and so I kind of like internalized that. And then high school came around, and it was actually not that bad. Probably the worst of my bullying came from middle school, because they're fucking rough, man.
Right.
And high school came around, and it was fine. I was not out. I tried to tell people. I remember I thought I actually liked a girl. Her name was Riley, and I was she was just a very kind human being, and she's still my very, very close friend to this day.
Sure.
And I thought I liked her, and I was like, oh my, I told my friends, I was like, I like Riley, but then I was just infatuated by how just kind she was, just very benevolent individual, and so that happened, and I guess, I remember I made out with a girl on a party bus once, and I was like, oh my god.
How did that go?
It was fine, but then I was there's hair everywhere, and it was on a party bus, and I was it just I didn't wasn't turned on or anything like that, and I was
no.
There's something wrong, And then I met Gunnar, who was this guy. He was openly gay, and we started hanging out a lot.
When was this? What year?
My senior year, and he was a year younger than me.
Okay.
He was a cheerleader. Super nice guy. Oh my god, we would actually hang out and swing on the swings.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but he had a boyfriend at the time, but we would flirt, and then I came out to him, and he was just he actually got kind of mad, and he was just I wish you would have told me. And I was just well, I didn't know. And so then we just stopped talking after that. And then I came out to my friend Morgan, and I remember I was crying. I was so sad because I told Gunnar, and he, like, I was expecting like a much better outcome.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Sure.
You know.
Did you have a sexual experience with him? Was
No.
there any...
I like had a crush on him for
Sure.
sure. I think like I kind of realized that I liked men when I confirmed that I had feelings for him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember I came out to my friend Morgan. I came out to my friend Bridget, and then I came out to my hold on. The first people I did come out to was my parents. So I think that was before.
Okay.
Yeah, those were the four, like, because I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna tell my parents first.
Yeah. Which
I think is like a little bit. I'm a bit of an anomaly in that because like people usually do the opposite. They tell their friends first, then their parents. But I just told, because I figured that was gonna be the hardest one.
Okay.
Like telling my parents.
Gotcha.
Because I come from, like, my mom's an immigrant from Mexico and my dad's an immigrant from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
So they came from very different backgrounds that like we are in now. And that I've been raised in. So I was just very nervous about them being a little more religious.
Were you raised in a pretty rigid or conservative environment where you were taught that being
I wouldn't
gay was
say
wrong?
Conservative because I feel like there's like an American conservative. I would say like rigid in a Hispanic way, like machismo and all that stuff.
Sure.
Where like very strict, I would say very strict gender norms.
Okay.
And my mom was more religious. My dad was not as much, more Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to pull the Band-Aid off, and they took it extremely well.
Wow.
They were just like, yeah, we just want you to be happy and healthy. And they were like, my mom's like, I've known since you were in kindergarten.
That's
and
awesome.
They were like, don't worry. And I was like, oh my God, what? So I was like, I'm just gonna tell everyone. And so.
You mean you're not mad?
Yeah. So it's great, and I'm still having an awesome. I mean, I live with them now. Like,
sure.
I still have an awesome relationship with them. But yeah, and then after that, it was like I can go through and slowly tell people, and I think that's when after I happened with Gunnar, and then I started telling my friends slowly and surely. I told my high school counselor, who I love, I still talk to today, and that was kind of my experience with coming out. And then going to college was like my first time, because like you can like create your own identity now.
Yeah.
Because no one knows you.
Sure.
So like it was my first time being like openly gay and like trying to experience that, and I was like, oh my God, like, because I've never even kissed a man before.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When was your first kiss?
With a man?
Yeah.
My senior year of college, first semester.
Oh, okay.
Senior year, so fall of 2017.
Was it
Yeah.
beautiful and all you expected?
It was pretty good. It was like, wait, this is it.
Oh, did you have feelings for him?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't feelings, but I knew that like
It just
this
felt
was
right.
it, because I had hooked up with many girls in the past, just really tried to.
Oh my God, did you have sex with a woman?
Yeah.
Oh my
I am
God.
not a gold star gay.
I'm a golden gay.
Congratulations.
How was that? Like, do you identify as solely gay, or?
Yes, I mean, I would say, because sexuality is a spectrum,
Yeah,
I would
of
say
course.
like 99.5% gay. Like Rihanna can get it.
Okay.
My personal preference.
Oh, okay.
She's the only one.
When will she ever come out with her new album?
Exactly, right? It was supposed to happen last month, but so yeah, having sexual relations with women or having sex with women, it was always an uphill battle. It was like a struggle. Like I was like, why is this so hard? No pun intended. It wasn't hard, but that was okay. It was hard, like trying to do sexual things with women. It didn't come as fun and natural. It felt like my mind was always convincing me that I had to perform well and actually be into it rather than just enjoy it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
An uphill battle is the easiest way to put it. And then once I had experiences with men, I was like, wait, this is so fun, this is so easy, this feels great. Like,
oh my God. Did you lose your virginity in college?
I did.
How was that?
Yes.
Did you top or bottom?
Topped.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, okay, first time with a man, I'm gonna go the top route. Just what I knew.
Yeah.
Um,
It's rough.
yeah.
Bottoming.
It definitely can be. You gotta take your precautions.
Oh my God, right?
So yeah, that was kind of a little bit about my experiences with women, but so you've never been with a woman? Never.
I've made out with a woman.
Just made out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, great. So
My experience with women. So,
yeah.
but still love them. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, they're our biggest allies. They're fun. I guess going back a little bit to your childhood, what were some of the subtle signs that you started to think, wait, I'm not straight? Did you?
Well, I was a dancer.
Okay.
So I was surrounded by women all the time. I don't.
Did you have like crushes on TV celebrities?
Oh, I went on a date recently, and he was like, "Who is your gay icon?" And I was like, "I don't know." But he was like, "Yeah." It's like he was just like when I saw the Pussycat Dolls, I was like, "Fuck, like maybe I am gay." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's like so Lady Gaga for me." Like I was just like Lady Gaga, or like Britney Spears. I was like, like go off, And it's just like, and it's like it's stupid because like music shouldn't really. But like it was
like everyone should be able to like whatever music,
and it was just like you like associating like a type of music with. I feel like it's like perpetuates a stereotype.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, like Lady Gaga, like go the fuck off.
Like looking back on it, I was like, how did I not come out or at least address it earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Because in middle school, my ringtone on my little Razor was the "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me" song.
My God, mine was actually no. I take it all back. Mine was Kesha. I loved Kesha, yes. But like I was obsessed. Like I would buy her actual albums and CDs, and I would buy like if she was ever on a magazine, I would buy magazines. And
oh my God,
I was like I like knew like all of her like songs that like no one listened to.
Yeah.
Like I think Kesha was that for me, and like I just like loved her, and she was like, "I love you, animals," and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
Because her fans are her animals. And so I was like, oh my God. I went to a concert with her. I went to her concert with my friend. This was in high school, like junior year.
Yeah.
We like wore glitter everywhere. Like, of course I was gay.
Right. You're just throwing that thing back, like just going wild.
But it just, I don't know. That's one of my biggest regrets, but it's okay.
Living in the closet for too long.
And it's like, I feel like my high school experience would have been a lot more different if I were out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have been so cool if I could go to prom with the man.
Yeah.
But,
right.
Because like prom is like, oh my God, prom.
And what's crazy is, I mean, 5 to 10 years ago, that you couldn't really because you would get bullied.
Were there people out in your high school?
There was one person out in my high school.
I had like 2 or 3. One of them had a crush on me. I remember. Tristan. Ended up hooking up with him.
Hey. Yeah. So I mean, I was at a private Christian school, so it was a little bit smaller, and of course, there's more stigma around that. But now I'm seeing, kids are bringing boys to prom. Like there's a lot of same-sex, relationships.
There's been a lot of like research, and I think I was listening to NPR lately about like compared to like all the other sort of like social justice issues and like stigmas and like compared to like racism, sexism, like heterosexism and like tolerance towards gay people has just like within the past decade immensely just people like I think there's surveys like even in 2000 like people like less than like 20% of people were like accepting of gay marriage, and like just like look where we are now. And like I think it's fascinating, and the sort of way that they justify it was that like you often like to an extent you can avoid people of color, you can avoid certain people, but like a lot of the times like you can't avoid, like if your son is gay,
right.
Like you can't avoid that. That's something you have to face, or not face, but like something that you are exposed to and you have like contact to. So
exactly,
like increased contact would then therefore foster like reduced prejudice and open-mindedness about things. So I thought that was interesting. So.
Yeah, no, totally. So you tell me a little bit about your schooling, or your degree that you're working on.
Sure. I went into my undergrad wanting to major in computer science or like engineering or something like that, because that's what my mom wanted me to do. Super first generation, like neither of my parents went to college, so I didn't really know what I was doing, so it's just like, okay, I'll do that. And then I stumbled upon psychology and intro to psych class just as like a prereq, or not even a prereq, just a general ed requirement. And I was like, like this is cool. And like I mentioned, I was like I like really looked up to my high school counselor, and I was like, maybe I'll be a counselor. And then I took intro to psych, and then I wanted to take abnormal psychology, which is like when you learn about like disorders and stuff like that. And I was just emailing my professor because I'm doing research with her right now, and I was like, I never actually wanted to take psych of prejudice. So abnormal psychology was all filled up, and I was one of the last people to register. And there was psych of prejudice that had like 23 seats left, and I was like, whatever, like I'll take it as an elective. And I took the class, and I was like, oh my god, and I was just like very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And then the following semester, I took research methods, and I kind of just realized how psychology is research-driven and it's all research-based. And then at that time, I wanted to do research with social justice and prejudice and stuff like that. And then I took cross-cultural psychology, and I loved that my senior year. And so kind of so then after that, I applied to PhD programs. I was rejected. And then this last year, I was applied to PhD and master's. I was interviewed for Washington University in St. Louis. They flew me out, and then I was rejected from there. I was waitlisted for University of Kansas, which was rejected from there. And then I got into a master's at SDSU in San Marcos, and I chose SDSU. So kind of my research right now is focused on implicit biases, and a lot of our work focuses on what is an implicit bias. And
what is an implicit bias?
I don't have a good definition, and
Okay.
we talk about it a lot in our lab meetings. I would say it's an automatic association that our experiences and the media perpetuates that can be explicit. So like the thing is with implicit bias is like I hold egalitarian views for everyone and think everyone should be treated equally. And explicitly, like, I am aware of, like, but, like, implicitly, like, I do things and my behaviors don't align with that sometimes.
Sure.
So, like, and I can acknowledge that. So, like, if I'm aware that I have these implicit biases, then are they implicit?
Gotcha.
And so, like, the whole thing is, like, are they unconscious or not? So it's, like, for the most part, people can introspect and like acknowledge that they have some sort of bias towards a specific ethnic group, like religious group or sexual minority. So then I'm like, is it implicit? Is it unconscious?
Like a subconscious bias.
Yeah.
Against...
Is it subconscious? Like, and I'm just like, I think sometimes when it influences your behavior, it is subconscious because you're just like, it's just automatic, and it like, I mean, think about just like, even like assuming that like a scientist is female or a scientist is male,
right,
as opposed to female, would be like a form of implicit bias because you associate a science with being male.
Sure.
Or just like, or associating black people with weapons.
Sure. And really, I would say that's not always your fault because if the media has constantly told you that doctors are male in every TV show or whatever, like
you associate blackness with like violence
or that too.
Or
anything,
all the stereotypes. I was watching a video. I recently gave a lecture about this, but one of the way that they described it was that think of like implicit bias as like a sort of fog that we've all been breathing, or a smoke that we've all been breathing, and it's just like it's just there.
Yeah.
And we kind of never really stood a chance with the culture that we have been raised in and the way that it's perpetuated. Like so many of these associations and stereotypes are perpetuated in our media and in everyday life.
Wow.
So
yeah,
that's what I study.
Nice. I like that. It's very interesting for sure.
Yeah. It's cool.
So if you had a little bit of words of wisdom for anyone that might be listening and that has been in your shoes before. Maybe they're 14 years old, maybe they're 20 years old, but they're struggling with their identity. What would you tell them?
Oh God. I just feel like I don't know because it is so situational, and it's like I think like I would be like, just do it, and then but I'm like, I don't know what the outcome is going to be for
dangerous,
you. If
don't
it's going to
do
be
it,
dangerous, and like I'm come from a place of privilege and luck in that like my parents were accepting, and like just doing it was like, okay, like it worked, but like for someone else it might not. And of course, like you said your close friend did not take it well either.
Right.
So like I feel like there's always this bit of ambiguity. I think like for the most part, accepting yourself first is that always where it all starts, and it's like saying it's okay.
I love that.
I guess yeah, it does start with like the individual and the self, and kind of. I remember. I wrote it. I liked writing.
Okay.
I had like a journal that was helpful for me. But understanding that it's okay to be gay, that's so basic, but I don't know what else to say. I don't have any tangible behaviors.
Sure. But that's a great start.
Yeah.
Because really, though, once you accept that
Yourself.
it's okay for yourself and that you're going to be fine,
Yeah.
like it's all uphill from there. I mean, you're going to hit road bumps for sure. You're going to have people that are going to cut away from you, but...
Yeah, and there's also just like the intersectional aspect to it. Like I don't know the experience of like a black gay man either, and like what they have experienced or stuff like that. So
yeah, absolutely
important stuff.
Well, Henry, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course.
I really appreciate sharing your background, sharing your story and your knowledge. You've been a great guest, so thank you.
Of course.